Hello and welcome to another episode of Diplostrats. I'm here once again with Ezio. Hi Ezio.
Hello, hello.
And as you may see from the power rankings on the side of the screen here, Ezio is in this game. This is another one in the series of Ezio's Olympus journey, and this will be the final one because this was the Olympus final. You qualified for that. Congratulations.
Yay.
So now we do get to record one final standard diplomacy game, which we don't actually do as often these days as we used to. One final in this tournament, I should say. This is definitely not the last standard diplomacy game we'll ever commentate. Anyway,
Dun, dun.
do you want to give some thoughts what you were thinking going into this one?
First of all, there are other people who have done analysis of this. Our friends over at the Diplomats Channel, which have now moved over to the North American Diplomacy Broadcast Association or whatever.
Diplomacy Broadcast Network, yeah.
Diplomacy Broadcast Network. Yeah, DBN, that one. Um, so they've already done a full analysis of everything, including interviews from everyone. They did an hour analysis of every single phase. So they make our analysis look positively quick. So everyone should go check out their stuff to get more specifics of it, including pregame interview thoughts and the rest of it. Um, my thoughts basically were that I was not going to do well at this game because I don't like Austria. I am bad at Austria, and I am not the best player at the board, or even close. I think I'm like bottom three, which makes sense because I picked last. I had no choice in my country. I didn't qualify well. So I was not anticipating this game going well.
Right, so yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this player list, and there are some really heavy hitters in here, right? Jordan Connors,
Uh-huh.
also known as
As
Conk.
Italy, yeah.
Yeah, and he's your next door neighbor. Ewok,
Yeah.
known as Village Idiot earlier as well. Very, very strong player.
Yeah.
We've also got Leonardo, who I think goes by Super Worty online a
Yes,
lot.
on Backstabber.
Yeah, so he's definitely played in previous Nexus. He might have been the first Nexus winner. I'm not actually sure on that one. I'd have to double check, but I know he's done very well in the past as well. I recognize Josh's name as well. I've definitely seen him do well. I think the Russia and the Turkey are the only names I don't immediately recognize, although I think we've seen them earlier in the tournament, right? Or at least one of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've obviously been to the tournaments,
Yeah.
and that's the case. Basically, the power rankings for like the player quality, it was like Jordan and Ewok were like one and two consensus, and then Leo was kind of number three, um, and then like I don't know where other people slotted me in there, but I put myself and Josh in a similar tier, and then Phoebe and Cora I just didn't know enough about to place in the tier because they were kind of unknown quantities. Although after playing with it, Phoebe is going to go higher on that list. Although unclear how high. Whatever. Point is, people were good. These are very good players. I am not very good, and I'm Austria. This is going to go badly.
Well, I'd wish you luck with it, but it's obviously already happened. So let's jump into this game analysis because there are a
Yeah.
lot of moves here that I would not initially expect on a board on a finals board. Right? You usually expect people to play a little safe and to be cautious because they don't want to be the person who goes out immediately or makes a decision straight away that eliminates their chances. But here we're seeing an instant attack into Black Sea, which I assume must be a stab, and also instant attack into English Channel and an instant attack into Burgundy. Bloody hell, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Well, Marseille held.
Yes.
Um, so this is not going to be a game of flawless play.
Mm.
Everyone should know that everyone makes mistakes in this game. Some are bigger than others, and some I'm not going to notice or recognize. So be aware of that. This opening is one that I think Turkey and France wish they could take back.
Yep.
Um, that's this is not a good start for either of those two nations. As Turkey, what are you doing? Holding with Ankara and Smyrna in the opening phase, because right, it's one thing to let Russia into the Black Sea, but you're not even moving Ankara into Constantinople, which is kind of the point, right? To like let you get out into the Aegean Sea. Constantinople is empty right now, so you can't even support Hold Bulgaria, which is just really bad. That is not pleasant at all.
Yep. And of course, well, thankfully the hold in Smyrna means they do have something to cover Armenia with, right, against this Russian army. But it's
Yeah,
just, yeah, the whole situation is really bad immediately here.
yeah. So Turkey's not happy. That means Austria's pretty happy. Russia's pretty happy. And then France is collapsing, right? This is like the fastest you're going to see a bad thing happen to France, right? They like lost the English Channel and Burgundy, and due to tactics, if Marseille and Mount are probably going to take Spain and Portugal, but like then Germany just takes Marseille and stuff. It's like really bad, really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think as Germany in this situation, I'm always ordering down to Marseille just because it always removes the French ability to gain a dot, right? No matter what.
yeah,
That's and then you can just ask England to go to Belgium. I'm not 100% sure whether they would, because England committing that hard into Belgium often loses them this region up here in Scandinavia, which is super important for them. But it does, if their objective is to kill France first, that probably would work.
yeah,
Yeah. God, this is horrendous. And like, I see why France did it, right? Quite often in these diplomacy games, you're like, Germany will come with you, come to you with a pitch of, let's demilitarize Burgundy, we can start off being very friendly together, and you can ride that friendliness into the mid-game and have a very, very strong FG off of that. But God, when Germany takes advantage of it, it's so painful.
yeah. And especially when Germany takes advantage of it and leaks to England that that's being taken advantage of, and then they walk into English Channel too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only upside here is Venice not heading to Piedmont.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you said earlier this will be a game where a lot of mistakes get made, right? Which I think is every diplomacy game. Even the best players make a lot of mistakes, or think moves that in retrospect are definitely mistakes. This definitely isn't a mistake, right? This is Jordan deciding that he doesn't want to move Venice away from you.
Yes. Yes. This is what that means. Yes.
Yes. Was he trying to blag that that was an accident or not?
No.
Alright. Well,
I think he was involved in getting Turkey to hold, right? You notice he moved to Munich, right? When Turkey also did this whole bounce in Munich thing.
oh,
So I think he was involved.
yeah. It's just like,
That's what it looks like to me with the move to Munich.
yep, it makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, anything else you want to talk about here, especially from your own perspective?
I mean, God, I don't know how much I want to talk about it from my perspective, to be honest. This game, spoiler alert to the viewers, is not one of my fonder memories.
Look, we can't spoil it like that immediately, Ezio.
Well, okay, but here's the thing: we could make the title or the intro to this video be "Let's watch Ezio's descent into madness again." We've seen this once with the Russia game. Let's watch it again.
Oh,
I believe
no.
these two games were concurrent. God, could they have
Yeah.
actually been?
So if you're talking about the Russia Imperial diplomacy game, right? I assume that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then yes, they would have been happening at the same time. Although I think
Yes,
you may
I
have.
was already driven to madness by
Yeah.
that. So I have some excuse here. Um, but yeah, so look, this game isn't one of my greatest, and again, people talk about it. There's lots of analysis of it, and I give my own post game thoughts. And I don't want this to be entirely about me because I don't end up winning, and I want to be talking about this kind of as a like, hey, here's everyone's on the board. Here's how things go, and we do a standard analysis. I will say this opening seems really good for Austria, right? This phase is great. There's this DMZ in Galicia, which indicates a strong Austria-Russia alliance, and then Russia's in Black Sea, which is great news because it means Turkey's pretty weak, and that's usually good news for Austria. Um,
Yeah.
So this spring was really good for me. Um, the only not great part is that Venice held, but whatever, that's fine. That happens.
Yeah, my biggest worry as Austria here would just be that this Austria-Russia alliance is so obvious that Italy might get uncomfortable and start working with Turkey, right? Um,
Yeah,
we'll yeah, we'll see how things go going forward. Is there anything else you want to talk
yeah.
about this phase, or shall we move ahead?
I mean, I can talk about that part already, and you guys will be able to see this, and it'll make more sense for you guys in the future. But Italy and Russia are very close.
Hmm.
Um, fun. So context for you guys that I only learned in the post game interview, and so if you don't want to be spoiled on this aspect of the game, which is interesting, you can skip for the next 30 seconds or so. But Phoebe went into this game wanting to hard ally Jordan. That was his plan, which is an insane plan to me. But he has said in post game he wanted to hard ally Jordan based on actually our analysis of how Jordan was played in previous games.
Really?
And then he did a bunch of pre gaming with Josh to talk about how great of friends they were going to be. And so because he wanted to go first, and he wanted to pick Russia because that had the best chance to be able to hard ally Jordan no matter where Jordan picked. So when Jordan was Italy, he was ecstatic because he was 100% sold on Wintergreen from day zero.
Okay, I see. That's another thing to
Yeah.
consider with these tournaments, right? There's so much that goes into it before the game even starts.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I prefer anonymous games, just so that you don't have to deal with as much of that, but it still happens in anonymous games where people
Yeah.
know roughly who the players might be, right? Um,
Yeah, especially when people are doing press on Discord, right?
yep.
There's only so much that can happen. But yeah, this game makes me think that anonymous tournaments have a lot of value. Because I don't think that's a good way to do stuff. But I mean, face-to-face diplomacy, right? That's not anonymous. You can't make it anonymous. So who knows? Anyways, so that's the case. So I don't think Italy's too worried about there being a really close Russia-Austria alliance.
Righto.
Yeah.
Alright, shall we move
Uh,
to fall then?
yeah. Let's go to the fall.
Okay, fall 1901. Um, is there? Well, okay. There's a few things that stand out to me immediately, but do you
Yeah. What do
anything
you
you want
see?
to? Well, I'm seeing it looks like Russia has been fully countered here, where they could have. Like, it looks like if you really wanted to destroy Turkey together, you should really have done something on Bulgaria together, right? Because you had that immediate threat, and this was always counterable. Um,
Yeah.
I'm also noting the bounce in Trieste and wondering whether that was arranged or whether that was you guessing that Italy would go there. I would not be surprised if it was the latter.
Yeah. So this phase was the most accurate phase of press maybe in my entire life. Um, there, this was shortly after I'm like in my new position at work. So I've just been promoted, and like this is a couple weeks in or something. Anyways, and this phase, I think I spend over the 48 hours of this phase. I sleep for let's say 16 hours, so that leaves 32 hours. I probably spend 28 hours on Discord.
Oh no. Okay. Oof.
So this phase, we go back and forth, left and right, a million ways to Sunday. We initially start talking about Bulgaria. The initial plan that we have is I support Sev to Bull, while Budapest takes Romania with support, and those are both guaranteed because Bulgaria is an army, fleets in Ankara, so nothing can support it. So I'm in Bulgaria, and so he's in Bulgaria, and I'm in Romania.
Mhm.
But this would have Albania taking Greece with just one, which is a little scary because things don't go well. Um, then I look at this, and then I realize that um, Jordan heard about this somehow. Question marks about how exactly he heard about it, but knowing the post game from about Russia makes perfect sense. And then it's like, okay, so since Jordan knows this, Jordan is going to tap Trieste because Jordan doesn't want me to go +3. and I am not able to cover Trieste if I am doing all of this because Serbia needs to support Sev to Bull, and I and Budapest is going to Romania. So I can't afford to do this entire line. I can't commit to this fully if unless I'm willing to lose Trieste. And I'm not willing to lose Trieste, Jordan. Not like this, not immediately. Um, yeah. Maybe I could have been willing to just make that sacrifice and do it, but I wasn't. And I don't know. Maybe that was wrong. And so then things degenerate where it's like, yeah, I could still have done something to help out Russia, but I don't want to risk Greece because there's still a guess, right, that Jordan could go for Greece and Bulgaria could support that. And so me supporting it in Greece could still bounce Jordan out of Greece if he decides to go for the attack. Um, and so I was working with Russia this whole phase. I didn't know about right how close Russia was going to be to Italy, and so I was like, well, we're going to just have a great alliance here. And then I'm happy if Russia goes for a really aggressive move set because either way it works well for me, right? If Russia succeeds, then they're okay, and then Turkey is crippled because this is such an aggressive move set. If the convoy to Khan works, Turkey is just cooked, um, and Romania is solid anyways. So I'm happy with that. Or if it goes wrong and Russia gets nothing, then Russia's suddenly very weak and is going to need to have a solid ally, especially in light of the EG being as potent as it was to start. So yeah, I figured this was great for me either way, with Russia going so aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, so Russia ends up deciding to go for Ukraine with no support here. They knew that you weren't. Sorry, for
Yep,
Romania without. They knew that you were going back and covering Trieste.
yep. And about Trieste. So what happened here is I told Balky, hey, let's bounce on Trieste. I say Balky,
Jordan.
Jordan.
Yep. He
Um,
changes his
yeah.
name all the time.
Well, yeah. I mean, you
Well,
would too,
Bulky
right?
was from a very long time ago, but yeah, this is
Yeah, yeah. So I asked Jordan, hey, let's bounce on Trieste. And then I think about it for a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm covering Trieste. I don't actually, this bounce really is irrelevant to me. I don't care about being in Trieste or Budapest. It's fine. You don't have to. And then he went for it anyways. And I assume this was Jordan thinking, oh, Ezio's just saying he's covering Trieste, but he's totally not covering Trieste. I can walk in.
yeah.
So that's what happened there. So it's like it's the least agreed upon bounce ever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. All right.
So that's the east, which is all chaotic. The west, however, is just looking glorious for the EG. They got the convoy into Belgium. They bounced Sweden. They get Holland for free. Like, I mean, this is just nightmare scenario for France. There's an army in Belgium. Yikes! Yikes! Yikes!
Yeah. I mean, this
Yeah.
is just. I mean, it's straight up better than sending North Sea to Belgium for England, because, of course, now Russia doesn't really have an angle of attack on here that'll work against the EG.
And Russia's not even building.
Oh, yeah, because Russia got bounced out of everything. Oh my god, this EG is so strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wow. That is impressive. I mean, it's strong enough that I might think that it would crumble just on the basis of they think they're going to steamroll so hard that one of them needs to get the upper hand right now. But maybe that's just the way I play.
You're insane.
It probably
My
wouldn't
God.
crumble immediately in any case.
It's just like, hey, we're able to actually remove France from the equation as both England and Germany. Let's just crush. Let's do it. But the EG being strong was a huge talk of the board, and so Russia's like, hey, I need builds to go and fight the EG. And I'm like, you're not going to get both Bulgaria and Romania. Are you insane? Like, I want one. Russia didn't like that.
Oh,
Um,
I see.
yeah, the justification of I want dots is apparently not inherent justification in of itself, which is crazy to me. I just assumed that that was like all that anyone needed to say at any point. But yeah, definitely some of my finest diplomacy. Um,
uh,
yeah, and let's go to the winter actually.
alrighty.
Yeah.
Winter 1900. Oh no.
Yeah.
I say oh no. I didn't know it was, I didn't remember it was this phase, but I do remember this.
Yeah.
uh,
Hey, everybody. So remember all the times I've said like don't wave as Austria? Remember all the times that I've said like waving is really bad and like having units is good because you want to have units to do things with because they're important for either attack or defense and like they're just good. Yeah, well I didn't follow my advice here. And I regretted it immediately.
yep.
But hey,
Um,
that's what's on the board, eh?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of stunning to me that you change your mind on the wave thing when you're next to Jordan of all people. Like
Right?
this is a situation when I would never wave. You don't
Yeah,
want Jordan to be next to your centers. Full stop. Like
yeah.
a unit needs
So
to
the
be.
counterpoint, the argument is that Jordan's just good at talking. And there was
Mm,
this, the argument that Jordan made for the wave is that he wants to move Venice into Piedmont because he wants to help Russia or he wants to help France against Germany,
mm.
which I agree with. I think that makes sense. I don't want to see Germany and England do as well as they are doing because it's going to take us some time to clean up Turkey. I'm hoping for a Russia, Austria, Italy, where we do the classic. Let's clean up Turkey, and I am content with this while Russia is still so weak because the wintergreen is going to be harder to kill me. Because Russia doesn't have as many units in position as Russia often does. And so my feeling is if I can keep the RAI real and we just eliminate Turkey out from the get go, I'm going to have a good time. And if I can get Jordan to move his units away, ain't that great?
Yep.
So great. That's why we go for the wave. Because by the way, if I don't wave and he moves into Piedmont, right, Trieste just walks into Venice and then Jordan's cooked.
Yep.
Right. Like
Uh,
that's just yeah, that's it.
I mean, yeah, I see the reasoning. I would still just never do.
Yeah.
I say I would never do this. I'm not in the situation where I was the one being talked into it, right? Um, but
Yeah.
I would like to think I would never do this. This feels so painful. And as we're gonna see in a bit, it gets a little painful too.
Yeah, we will see in a bit, won't we? Um
Uh, I,
so by the way, on this phase, during builds as well, Jordan really wants me to build and then go into Bohemia and Tyrolia. That's what Jordan is arguing for, and I'm like, no, I'm Austria. I'm not going to YOLO into Germany in spring of '02. That ends badly for me,
mhm.
right? I'm not going to do that. That's insane. But I'm happy for you to go help out, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. Certainly not while Turkey and Russia are still like in the game. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he wanting you to go into these two while waving a build?
No. Yes. After the wave happens, he's like, "Hey, go into one of them." Right? Still going to Bohemian. I'm like, "Wait, no, I waved, so I wasn't going to do that." Right? Because he was like, the discussion was like, "Hey, put down these two armies," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that." Actually, no, sorry, I was okay with it. I forget the negotiations, but like, I said I was going to be fine with it. I'm sure. And then he was like, "Oh, actually, no, it's too scary, but I want to go help with Marseille, and that's really important. But I can't go help with Marseille if you have armies in Trieste and Vienna. So then go. So don't do that. So like this isn't gonna work. I like can't move to Piedmont." And I'm like, "Well, I can wave, and then you can go to Piedmont." And then he was
Mhm.
like, "Okay, great, deal." And then I'm like, "Okay, great." And then he was like, "Oh, but you're still gonna go to Bohemia and Tyrolia." And this is after the phase. And I'm like, "No, I'm not. What? I waved." Um, and then things fell through. But there was like a group chat with France where he was like, "Hey, please, like, go attack Germany." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm happy to build stuff in Trieste and Vienna." And then Balky was like, "Absolutely not. Don't do that." Not in the group chat, but in private. It was very fun. Anyways, this is great. I regretted it immediately, and then I could tell the negotiations absolutely collapsed with Jordan. Um, and I had some of my better press. This is the phase where I told Russia, "Hey, you can't have both. I want one." And also, I'm going to see if I have any better offers because I don't like that. And that was some of my finest diplomacy to date. So in this phase, we have an order set that's agreed upon between me, Russia, and Italy, where ostensibly I'm going to go Greece to Aegean, Serbia to Greece, Bulgaria to Budapest to Serbia, and Vienna to Budapest.
So big
A
Congo line.
long Congo line, all the
Yeah.
way down to Aegean. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? There's no way. This is insanity.
I do
So I
notice that
first,
your Congo line doesn't protect Trieste as well.
absolutely, yeah. So I tell them that's totally fine. Go for it. And I tell both of them, hey, this is totally fine. I'll do that. Whatever. This will be okay. Um, and I have, by the way, like I'm still talking with Turkey quite closely. Like we've had a lot of talks, and like I haven't like Turkey knew what I was up to, and the fact that I didn't help Russia kill him makes me pretty happy.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So in the West, right, you notice that fleet Liverpool. That's very important. That's pretty like, hey, yeah, we are actually anti-France here. France couldn't build a fleet in '01, which is bad news bears for France because Brest was covered and Marseille got captured. So yikes. So it looks like France is not long for this world at all. And so that's why like I really did want to see this Italian army in Piedmont. Right? I want to see France hold out a little bit against the CG.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, let's look at the moves.
Okay. Let's go through to Spring '02 then. Nothing could possibly go. Oh, hang on. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
So I
both
don't
stab
go
each other.
yeah. I realize that he's 100% stabbing me. I say 100%. I think it's incredibly likely that he's stabbing me. And look, if he isn't stabbing me and went for the moveset that we actually agreed upon, then yeah, I could have taken Venice. But like, come on. What the odds of that happening? And I was worried about there being everyone attacking me a little bit, so I went for Bulgaria. I was not expecting Russia. I really was not expecting Russia to YOLO into Romania like this. And looking back on it, I shouldn't have been surprised. My press was such ass this face with Russia. Like, obviously, he's gonna fuck with me. Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
yikes! Isn't it great to wave a build and then in the spring be stabbed by all your neighbors?
Yeah, or to wave a build and then immediately go on the defensive against the neighbor that build would have been useful against.
Isn't
Like,
that just great play? High quality, like pristine
it
gameplay.
wasn't even that you got stabbed, it's that you got stabbed so predictably that you were able to defend against it. If you could predict it, why didn't you just build the unit? Oh no.
At the Ezio mind is an enigma.
Indeed. It does seem
Yeah.
that way. Um
Yeah. So not my proudest winter phase, but don't worry, it gets better.
uh,
So, this phase in the east, yeah. So Russia full pivots into me off of Turkey, and is getting bodied in the north, losing Sweden. St. Petersburg is under pressure. The EG is still tight, and it's not like Turkey is happy with Russia right now. Right? Turkey just took Black Sea.
yeah.
So yikes, um, yikes for me. Even though I was like defended against the stab, I did not defend against the stab in a good way, like in a particularly efficient one, because of this Russia added stab as well. If Russia doesn't stab for into Galicia and Romania, right? Because Galicia and Romania notably are going to coordinate on Budapest. If you can you actually like see just the result screen of this move? Is it possible? Because it's helpful for the
Unfortunately,
viewers. I don't think
Backstabber
so.
doesn't have a remove the arrows option, so
Yeah. So the results of this move, for those of you who aren't as used to Backstabber, I have an army in Tyrolia, and then an army in Budapest, and that army in Budapest notably is not adjacent to the army in Tyrolia, and then I have an army in Bulgaria, which is notably not adjacent to the army in Budapest, or any of my other armies. So I have three armies as Austria to defend my homeland, and none of them are adjacent to each other, so none of them can support hold. Uh-oh.
indeed, yeah, this is a
Yeah.
pretty horrible position. And of course, that unit in Bulgaria is on a Turkish dot, which means Turkey is not going to be that happy with you either, I guess.
No, because Turkey was like, hey, you're not going to take my stuff, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
totes not.
Hmm.
And then I totes did. Notably, he also supported Russia against me, so it's not like I stabbed him and he was happy to work with me and was trying to work with me, right? Bulgaria supported Sev into Romania. So that gave me some leg to stand on because it wasn't like because the vibes were just off. Okay, like I said, my press was ash this phase to everyone. Because like I didn't convince Italy that I was going to do the attack against Turkey. I didn't convince Russia that we should stay outside. My press was terrible, and doing terrible press after waving, chef's kiss, just perfect. Wow, what great play by me.
uh,
So things are looking rough for the good guys. If you look at the West, we see that the EG is just lockstep, just crushing.
yeah.
Like they're in
You can
Burgundy
see that
now.
absolute lockstep here with just vacating Holland, not bothering to leave anything defending it, right? Going up into Sweden as England is coming up behind. And of course, England is just focusing fully on Mid-Atlantic Ocean. They're going to be able to take Mid-Atlantic Ocean on this next turn as well. It's
Yep.
actually a beautiful EG. I mean, this is
Yep.
gonna run over the board, and this is kind of what I was saying before. Like, this is gonna demolish people so fast that it is gonna be quite important which one of these two is dominant going forward, and I
Yep.
could see it falling apart specifically because of that, right?
Yeah, the good news for France, Marseille ending up in Piedmont
Yes.
is actually pretty important for France because it means that Marseille like can't tap Gascony, for example, and can't threaten Spain. So the paranoia about Jordan potentially moving into Piedmont, which seemed very plausible, did in fact help France. So that's still helpful. But France is in bad shape, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm curious which of these two you think is stronger in EG right now. I guess at the end of the year we have a power ranking, so we'll get
Yeah,
to
we'll do
that
power
then. But
rankings then, and we should see how things go. Generally speaking, I prefer to be England in the EG, obviously,
yeah,
but we'll see how things look.
I think this in particular is just so huge for England. The fact that France couldn't put a second fleet down and Russia
Yeah.
couldn't put a fleet down. So the
Yep.
only person who built a fleet that round was Germany. I would have been tempted as England to go full out with Germany and go, I will stick to this forever if you do not put down a second fleet. We
Yeah.
can just run the game together, and then you just
Yeah,
go,
but trying to
oh,
make that a deal breaker, right? If you're saying that you won't stick with him if he does build a fleet, that's a
yeah,
scary pitch to make
that's
when
fair. I should
you're in
phrase that
such
in
a
a
good
very different
position.
way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, but trying to get Germany to not build a fleet in '01 as England is a very common attempt, and it's difficult when hey, it gets him Sweden, right?
Yeah. It's also
Like,
difficult on a top board just in general, because Germany, after that '01 build in an EG, generally has very little ability to, like, diplomatically put down that second fleet. Because at all future points in the game, it's like this fleet can only be used against England, because if they're doing well, right? Whereas at this stage, you've got the excuse that you don't have Sweden yet, and of course the excuse that I kind of need two fleets on the board, which is the real reason why you're putting that down. But later on, that doesn't hold up as well. Like, that's not something you can just say to someone, I need this second fleet because I don't entirely trust you, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So, the good move by Germany putting down the second fleet in any case. It is going to counterbalance England a bit.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to talk about on this phase, or shall we move ahead?
Then let's go to the fall.
Alright, fall 1902. You get Turkish support.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
yeah. This phase goes great for me, except that I misorder my retreat.
Oh no.
Look at Greece. Look at
Oh,
Greece, eh?
is this the one?
Greece was supposed to stay on. Was supposed to go off. It was supposed to get disbanded.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't use backstabber enough, I guess. Um, and that fleet stays on the board, which is terrible.
Yeah. So, for reference here, if Ezio takes Greece off the board, he has Romania, Serbia, Trieste, Vienna, which is 4 supply centers. He has 3 units remaining, Serbia, Romania, and Trieste, and an open home dot.
Yeah,
So you can put down the extra army in Vienna,
yeah,
essentially morph this fleet, which is otherwise going to be pretty useless because it can't effectively coordinate with the rest of your units and try and get a consolidated core of armies, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Teleport Fleet Aegean into Army Vienna when I've just lost Budapest, and it means that I have a like stable center of defense, right? I can like fight for Budapest and fight for my core. I'm Austria. I want armies in general. I can really get out of the hair of Italy and Turkey and be like, look, you guys are going to be fighting over Greece now. Turkey's going to put down another fleet, and so like, hey, it means that the AT is more stable because I don't have any fleets that's in the way, right? There's no any like risk of Aegean doing anything stupid, and then to Italy, it's like, hey, Turkey's your main threat. I need to go fight Russia here. Let's just do the thing. My position becomes actually like, I think a solid position if I have an army in Vienna.
I don't know that
bad.
I'd call it solid. I'd call it better than a lot better than it would be here, right? And potentially able to come back from. I don't know that keeping Fleet Aegean gives you a position that you can come back from.
Yeah, Fleet Aegean means it's cooked, right? It's over and it's up to, right? I don't have a chance anymore.
Mm-hmm.
With Army Vienna, I have a chance, right? Army Vienna, I certainly have a chance. I think Russia's just still not that strong. It is basically the argument. Russia gets only one build and is going to be under pressure in St. Petersburg and is going to lose Sevastopol. Like, we could just go for a really strong AT versus IR, but Russia is going to get hit from the north, and so if Austria and Turkey coordinate, this will be fine. But having this fleet means I just can't hold the homeland enough. Yeah, we're going to retake Greece more easily and maybe get into Ionian, but that's not enough. That's not enough compensation. Certainly not for me. For the Alliance in general, even it's worse. Like, Army Vienna is huge. This misorder is just god-awful. And yeah, sometimes you misorder.
Yep. Well, yep. I should also say the reason I thought that this is less bad than... I'm not looking at the retreats here, just the phase. Less bad than I was expecting. You do manage to keep everything, right? But this support here is so... Well, okay, you managed to keep everything apart from the things that you definitely couldn't keep anyway, right?
Yeah.
So most of the stuff you end up losing, but... The huge thing is getting this support from Turkey, because locking in an AT here gives you a very real chance of getting back into the game. You have a rock-solid ally, it's an ally who's in the corner and who can push out and threaten the people who are otherwise going to kill you. That's enormous.
Yeah, and an ally who has only one army.
Yep. A lot of the time we say that Austria-Turkeys are really hard to make work. I say we, like just everyone in diplomacy. In this case, it's actually pretty beautifully positioned for it, right? Because that one army has a very specific target in Sevastopol. Everything else is definitely going to be a fleet. And because you'd be taking Greece off in the ideal world, you're very focused on armies up here. You have no reason to block Turkey out of Greece, so they have that expansion route going forward, and you're not in their way at all. It would have been a really great situation. Obviously, yeah, this makes it less so.
Yeah.
I mean, I also wanted to look at the other side of the board, but really, everything there is just bookwork at this point, right? It's a much stronger force making progress against someone who can't possibly hold against them. If France had guessed correctly, they could have done Brest support Picardy here and held the line just a little bit, which is exactly why France is such a defensive power, right? You can still get those guesses off as you're being attacked by a much stronger force. But they still lose Mid-Atlantic Ocean. This is gonna go down. There is no way France can really hold this at all.
Yeah. But it's gonna take a year and a bit, right? Like, it's not gonna be fast. Like, they lose Brest and Paris. Well, like, Portugal and Spain, man.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at this now. They get to rebuild this Picardy unit, right? So they can hold it a little bit. It's still rough to hold, but it's they can reinforce stuff. Anything else you want to talk about here?
I think North Sea being vacant is a sign for the EG that things are pretty stable. Like moving North Sea to English Channel instead of Irish Sea to Mid Atlantic Ocean, to change how things work over there is like, yeah,
Yes.
that's relevant.
Yep, it is. They are clearly rock solidly together at this point, and you can see that Germany is also keeping their fleets away from North Sea, so they're not threatening England at all in that space.
Yep.
They obviously do have a line to threaten England quite easily if they go Sweden to Skagerrak, Baltic to Sweden, right? But it does only threaten one dot, and it pulls all of the English units back. It probably wouldn't be worth doing, and I think that's the gamble England is taking here, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, shall we move to the winter?
Yeah. Let's see the
Okay.
prize.
So, winter 1902, this is a power rankings turn. I think the first thing I'm going to do on the power rankings is move you to there.
Yeah.
No, that's unfair. You do still have a chance in this game.
Not with Fleet of Chain, man. I don't agree. I'm done.
Well, yeah, it is.
Just look at this position, man. It ain't it.
It's such a horrible Austrian position. It is. I mean, we can see from the builds, right? With Army Venice coming down, it would still be pretty tough to hold out, even if you did have the army up here. But the fact that Germany has these units here that could potentially disrupt an attack on you, and Germany does have reason to do that, right? Germany doesn't want anyone in the south to consolidate while they're taking France out. It gives you a bit of a chance. And of course, you can just push into Budapest here and try and make sure that Russia goes down super quickly, and then Italy, any gains Italy gets, you can hopefully hold the line against them. Not gonna happen now.
Yep. With Army in Vienna, things are stable. Without Army in Vienna, things are not. And I say stable. I lose Trieste, but I retake Budapest almost certainly and pop it almost certainly.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, sure. And then things don't go well, but that's fine.
Okay. So most
France
powerful on this.
Worst.
Sorry. Yeah. I agree.
Bottom up will be easiest. France is second worst.
Definitely. I think
Russia's third worst.
Russia, yeah, I was going between Russia and Turkey because Russia, of course, has a strong ally in Italy and is making progress there. But I think Italy is going to get the majority of those gains just because Russia is going to lose stuff in the north very quickly, right? And they've got this pressure on Warsaw that they can't really do much about that may cause them to have to pull back. Right, so who would you put in fourth to last?
This is where things start to get tough.
Mm-hmm.
Right, these three I think are these four. Yeah, these four I think are all in good positions, and the other three are in bad positions. And so it's difficult to see how things go. Turkey's position feels incredibly stable. Right? Yeah, you have an enemy as Italy, but you've also got a rock solid ally as Austria, who can't do much, but is at least going to do things. And is still going to fight, and so they're going to get Greece and probably Sevastopol pretty soon. So like, Turkey's fun and easy, but you're then going to be locked in a war against Italy and Russia. Who knows how that's going to go? Whereas England and Germany have really no enemies except each other, but each of them are kind of going to balance each other out. And then Italy is just going to take a lot, right? Italy's going to get probably Trieste and Serbia this year type stuff. Like, maybe not Serbia, but who knows?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think the big problem with Italy is just that they only have 2 fleets on the board right now, right? Against an Austria-Turkey alliance that feasibly has 3 in this area already. But they will be able to get another fleet down relatively quickly, so they can stabilize that. Man, it is tough. I would put England and Germany above the other 2, purely because I feel like that side of the board is resolving much, much faster right now. Right?
Sure.
Which makes... If you can cut out the other powers from a specific theatre, it obviously makes the rest of the powers that are in that theatre more likely to win because they have a greater share of the dots, right? They can carry that momentum forward and try and push for that win earlier than the people on the other side of the board can. I feel like England and Germany are in that kind of spot right now. But yeah, what kind of
Yeah,
order would you put them in here?
I know how this game goes, so it's unfair for me to say anymore.
Yeah, but
These
I
three, I
do
think, are
too. So
objective truth. The top four are tough.
yeah, I think generally I would put ooh, do I put Germany first? See, Germany has so much more growth immediately than England does, but England has 4 fleets against Germany's 2, and the French fleet is trapped in Portugal, and the Russian fleet is probably coming off the board relatively soon.
It's in
I
St. Pete's South Coast, right? It's not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. That is kind of the perfect English position. If England had stayed in North Sea or found any excuse to stay in North Sea, I think I would definitely put England first.
Sure.
Because then they kind of demonstrate that they have control over the dynamics in the North. I'm not sure in the current position. I guess we have to choose one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go by dot count, which is the thing to go for when you're unsure between those two anyway. And
Yeah.
say that Germany is above England because Germany has 7 dots to England's 5. Then Italy and Turkey, I, I I think I put them this way around purely because Turkey is always going to benefit from a really strong EG. The two of them rolling across the rest of the board forces the other players to react to them, right? And to hold them. The moment France goes down, Italy has to come back and defend this or they lose it, unless these two descend into infighting. Whereas Turkey doesn't really need to care about how fast they're advancing unless they actively win the game in doing so, which they might do, but that's like Turkey will benefit from them crossing the line and distracting all of Turkey's enemies.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like a Western triple, Turkey's the best ally for the Western triple to carve up Italy, Austria, and Russia. And in this case, if the EG goes fast enough, it's essentially just a Western triple.
yes.
Um, you don't have to worry as Turkey. You don't have to worry about one of them winning the game while there's two of them, because assuming they're competent players, this is a worry you have with frankly incompetent players, where one of them will leave themselves open to a game-losing stab to the other immediately. Like there'll be a point where one of them stabs and gets to 18, and you see this with like bad players when there's a two-person alliance. But at this level, you can assume that's not going to happen, where one of them might be able to stab the other for a significant edge, but then the rest of the board can help out and stop it. So as Turkey, you're ecstatic about it. As Italy, probably less so, because you're one of those people expected to keep them balanced.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I think as Italy, in order to get to a position that Turkey can get to quite easily, you have to make sure that you've killed your enemies before these players get into the Mediterranean, which is so hard, especially with one of the enemies being Turkey. I could see them managing to eliminate you before that point. I don't know whether it gives them enough fleets to fight this off, though. It's tough. It's clear they're gambling on that because they're ignoring Germany right now and going for you instead. Right? They think that if they wipe you off the board, get those dots, they'll be able to throw those units into the Mediterranean just in time. Whether that will pay off for them or not, we'll have to see. But I think it's less likely to pay off than Turkey's position of just being in the best position to benefit from an EG.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is solid. All right,
Yeah.
let's go see the spring.
Let's go see Spring '03. More pain for you, I see. Goodbye, Trieste.
Yeah, here my tactics are shit again. Aegean is supposed to tap Ionian here, instead of supporting Bulgaria, right? Because tapping Ionian, and then I got punished for it, obviously, which is great. But if Aegean taps Ionian, right, it still cuts the support of Greece. So, and because Serbia is supporting Bulgaria into Greece, the only way that having Aegean tap Ionian gets punished is if Budapest taps Serbia specifically. Otherwise, we're going to
Yeah.
get Bulgaria into Greece guaranteed. But if I tap Ionian, I still cut the support, and then if Ionian does this, for example, supporting Greece up, that support would get cut, so Greece would get popped. And if Greece gets popped, then I keep Serbia on the. Then I'm not going to lose Serbia. But instead, because I've moved Romania to Budapest, Trieste is getting popped, and so now Trieste and Albania can coordinate on Serbia, which
Yeah.
is bad news for me.
Yeah.
Notably, in this phase, I talked to Russia and Turkey about doing a rat, a late forming rat. And I think the argument in favor of this is that Russia's going to get pummeled in the north and isn't going to have the units to fight in the south. And I'm getting pummeled by Italy, which is not going to be good news. And if Russia and Italy work together, that's bad news for me, while Russia gets absolutely annihilated. And Turkey is just happy because Turkey gets to focus on Italy and get some guaranteed growth. And I assume that Russia would be happy to concede Sevastopol to Turkey anyways, as part of this alliance. And both of them seem to agree to it with me, but then they agreed to the most absurd deal ever, where Sevastopol goes to Armenia while Armenia backs up out of the way and then agrees to get Armenia popped in the fall.
Oh, I see. As in, so move the fleet down to here and then they support that back forwards so that
Yeah.
they take that fleet off. I've seen that in O1 in games before. It's because obviously as Turkey you want to take that fleet, that enemy fleet off the
Yeah.
board, right? It makes everything so much more secure. Here it
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of sense to do. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I could see it happening. If Turkey is happy to not take the easier option of just taking Sevastopol, which they obviously do
Yeah.
anyway. uh,
Well, what it turns out happened is that both of them agreed to do this. The fleet was supposed to get disbanded, so that retreat wasn't part of the agreement that they made. Russia then stabs that agreement. But both of them agreed to do it and just didn't tell me about it.
okay.
Like, right? It's like, I don't care about this. But both of them lied to it. And then both of them tried to tell me that the other person was lying. And it was just one of the weirder phases. Because I'm like, what are you two doing?
Wait, sorry.
Like,
Am I misunderstanding here? Did they both follow what they were intending to do here? I thought the idea was that Sevastopol comes down to Armenia and Armenia backs out and then comes back in to
so
destroy
that
it.
was the deal that I heard that they agreed in the group press, in the group chat.
Okay.
But then privately, the two of them separately agreed to do this ish, right? Well, agreed to have that. The agreement between the two of them privately was that Turkey was going to take Sevastopol, but then Phoebe was going to pop Sevastopol.
Okay. Right.
Um, but Phoebe broke that deal too and retreated to Romania.
Okay, right. That's very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume Budapest to Vienna and stuff were not part of your deal with the rat.
It was actually.
Oh?
I was happy with this threat because my thinking is that this keeps Russia safe. I'm gonna lose stuff anyways. I can't hold Vienna no matter what. And if we work with Russia to get people on side, then we'll be okay. And then Munich to Tyrolia also is great news for me. I was happy about that because now we have a German army that Leo is very happy to say, hey, I'm going to help you out with this army. What do you want Tyrolia to do? And I'm like, I see. And I worked out something for Tyrolia. I forget exactly what it was, but I worked out something that I went to tell Phoebe that if he messes with me for Budapest, yeah, it was Tyrolia taps Vienna. That's what it is. I told Phoebe, hey, I am going to double support you from Vienna into Trieste.
Mhm.
And that way, there's a chance you get into Trieste. We'll see what Germany does, but probably not. And then I'm like, you know what? No, actually, I want Germany to tap Vienna here because you messed with me. That right? This retreat to Romania is clearly not it, right? The whole point of this rat is like get Sev off the board. But whatever, he retreated to Romania instead of disbanding it. So okay, fine. I don't think I can trust him right now. He's kind of messed with me every turn since O2. Fine.
Mhm.
Um, so hey, if you do this, you're going to give Germany a build. Germany's in Gulf of Bothnia right now. He's clearly not your friend. Don't let him get a build. We need to band together or else we're going to die. So accept the support of the Trieste. Germany's going to tap Vienna. I'll double support you, etc. Great. That's what I said. And yeah, we'll see how things go.
Right, sorry. So just so that I have this understood, going into the next turn, what you want Russia to do is go Vienna to Trieste. You've asked Germany to move to Vienna, and then you ask Russia to go Galicia to Vienna to block that, and then move this down?
Yeah, I think Galicia. Yeah, I have Galicia to Vienna in there too, so that if things work out, then it's fine, and I don't get it. And like the dream is basically that I lose Serbia, but then bounce the attack out of Trieste, the backfill out of Trieste, because it's going to be something like Albania support Trieste to Serbia, and then Venice to Trieste, and Adriatic support that.
I see.
So some moves like that.
So the idea is purely that because Italy is going to attack down here, you just want this Russian unit to attack Trieste so that it will bounce the Italian back out and that remains yours.
Yeah, and then if there's another bounce in Vienna afterwards, that'd be great. And then I have Vienna and Trieste still, and then I lose Romania, but I still have Serbia. So, like, I don't know, man. We hold out for a little bit longer. We'll see.
All right. But with the Russian fleet here, I mean, I know this is desperation diplomacy at this point, right? Your position is so bad that you just have to hope that someone's willing to work with you. But yeah, the Russian fleet retreating into Romania makes it kind of impossible that Russia is going to work with you. I think they would not have done that if they wanted to.
I think so. I think you're right.
All right. Well,
I think he's going to die if he fights me. Worth noting.
Yeah, that's
right.
I mean, this is a really bad situation up here.
Because, like, especially because fighting me does mean fighting Turkey too. Right? Yes. It's like that's not going to work. So yeah, if he could find a way to turn this into like a late forming juggernaut, that'd be fine too. But keeping the fleet on doesn't help with that either.
Yeah.
Right. So if I hadn't seen the post game or I heard that like this was just all Phoebe's idea all the way through, I would just assume the dude's getting manipulated by Jordan because he's doing everything that Jordan wants. Like this is just Russia kamikazing to give Italy a good game. At the expense of his own, and it's just depressing to watch. But let's go. Let's look at the West because the West is a relevant thing, right? Like, hey, look, the EG take Brest, and then they're gonna force Paris because Gascony walks all the way down to Spain, right? Look at that. So Brest and Paris go. There's that German army back in Marseille. Oof.
Yeah.
Rip France.
France doesn't seem very long for this world.
Yeah.
This really is now reaching a point where I'm wondering how long can the CG last? Because if France becomes a complete non-factor, one of them is surely going to stab the other.
Surely.
Yeah. Well, we'll see as we go forward, I guess. Shall we go forward to 04? Not 04, to Fall 03.
Yeah, next. Yeah, let's go to fall.
All right. Fall 1903. Okay, so Russia just walks into Bulgaria East Coast. I wonder if this fleet is going to make it out into the Mediterranean at some point.
Yeah, that would be fun.
You're not dead here, right? You get knocked out of Serbia, retreat to
Romania gets blocked out of, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so as far as what you were saying there, that you told Russia that Germany was coming in here, Russia just doesn't care.
And Germany did too. Russia just doesn't care. Russia says, you know what, I want to give Germany an extra unit so that he can attack me with more units.
So,
okay.
In a sense, I kind of guess is if Russia thinks that you're the enemy here, right, then taking your unit off the board and replacing it with a German one, essentially, that German unit was gonna be a nuisance to them either way. So taking your unit off the board is a benefit there. The question is, are you such an enemy that they need to do this, right?
Worth noting, I never attacked Russia at any point in this game, and was obviously never going to attack Russia at any point in this game. So maybe stabbing me for Budapest and then giving everyone else all of the games instead of himself wasn't good. I'm
Well,
bitter.
yeah, it does sound that way. But you are still alive. You have one center left, right? You
Yeah.
survive in Romania here. Um,
Yep.
yeah. I imagine that Romania unit will be used to try and help kill Bulgaria. Like, at this point, your game is just who am I going to work with? And
Yep.
given that two of these players have stabbed you and one of them hasn't, I feel like you're just going to work with Turkey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Army in Romania is a good army to have. There's lots of chaos on the border. I got 3 countries adjacent to me, so let's keep chaos for as long as we can,
Yep.
basically.
And that Aegean fleet does actually pay off for Turkey in this
Oh yeah.
event.
Look, it got Greece, and then it gets Turkey into Ionian. Like, that's good, but it means that I died this year, right? Like, we
Yeah.
talked about this band, right? This retreat being awful, and I lose all of my other centers in a year, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
it's
difference
just
between a 4 army position here and the 3 army position is kind of incredible.
yeah, it's just catastrophic how bad this is. And then right, that's like tactical misplay from my end helped accelerate the demise because this fleet could have been more useful than it was. Um, and yeah, like it could have gone better, but if I had the 4 armies, then it would have certainly gone better.
mhm.
But oh well.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure what else to say here. I love the Turkish position, despite Bulgaria being taken. You can
Yeah,
still
there's
build
Turkey's
because
still
they
building.
gain 2 and
Yeah, put
lose.
something down in con, and that fleet's not a factor anymore.
Yeah, the Italian position is pretty good too, but losing Ionian really hurts here because you lost it right before. Well, not you. Jordan lost it right before he would be able to like bolster that up with the built units.
Yeah, but he puts down 2 fleets, so like it's not the end of the world probably.
Yeah, and you have to
Oh,
presumably
only
have to
one
take
fleet.
off
Sorry,
Aegean.
because he lost Greece. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
you.
keeping Army Romania over Aegean.
You're not gonna miss order the builds again.
No. Well, that
All
was a
right.
retreat phase, notably, not a
Yeah.
build. So, but yeah,
Uh.
I didn't disband. I didn't misorder my retreat if Serbia had disbanded. That would have
Yes.
been funny.
All right. Yeah, and just looking at the north as well, and England taking 2 here, and Germany getting
Yep.
1, and France now being down to just these 2. Surely there has to be a stab from one of them on the horizon. Like,
Yeah, this misguess from England is kind of brutal, though.
mm,
Um, I don't. I don't really understand why England would go for Spain here instead of Western Med.
yeah. I
This
is
is
there?
this is like the first like real tactical like question mark that I see.
Yeah, there's no world where France ever does anything other than support holding Spain. I think.
Yeah,
What else can they? There's not even anything useful they can tap. I guess they could
yeah.
try and go into Mao to block,
But there's no
but
reason,
surely Brest always
right?
supports. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason to it. So I don't understand this move.
Hmm.
But hey, everyone's allowed, right? If your mistake is, oops, you accidentally don't go into Western meta phase faster, but you wait a little bit, whereas mine is wave and then misorder a retreat. Yeah, okay. One of us is winning this game, one of us is losing.
I mean, the other thing I see here is that England has Fleet Brest, which hasn't taken Brest yet. So Brest can't be the mover here, right? Can't go into
Yep.
Mid-Atlantic Ocean. If you move English Channel into Mid-Atlantic Ocean successfully here and into Western Med, you've got nothing to convoy units off the British mainland if you do want to go for a stab.
Who
So
cares?
why why is that a who cares? That is quite an important thing. Maybe you're just building all fleets anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, you just put a fleet down. Put a fleet in London.
Well,
It's fine.
they get 2 builds here, right? They get St. Petersburg
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
Brest.
Well, so you don't know that you're getting St. Pete, notably. That's not a guarantee. Because if you look at Moscow, right, Moscow could have support held St. Petersburg,
That is
but
true.
instead it tapped Sevastopol.
Actually, yeah, you never expect to get St. Petersburg here, right? Unless you somehow convince
So
the Turk to tap Moscow for you, but I don't think they're
yeah,
doing that.
which couldn't do, right? They didn't make that happen with that fleet in Romania, right? It's too scary that Moscow supports Romania to Sevastopol, right? I
Hmm.
think that would be a very plausible move set. But whatever. Uh, Russia just didn't, so
Yeah.
that's fine. But yeah, so since you have two builds, right, you can still put down fleet army, and like, yeah, your convoy's a little slow, but who cares?
Yeah. Well,
So question mark on that move, but whatever. Like,
I
still their position's great. Yeah,
I guess my only thought here is if Germany does flip on me, right, as well, and I've
yep,
just gone down into Western Med and Mid-Atlantic Ocean, I'm now stuck trying to get a center that he's just going to support hold and let them keep indefinitely, and my fleets are further away from my homeland, so there's more temptation to come in and attack me. Uh,
yeah, but like, it's also if he stabs you in this phase, right? So he doesn't support you into St. Pete. He like moves into Denmark and moves into Sweden. I guess if he snipes Belgium, you're not actually building, and that could be scary. But then,
yeah,
like, France
I,
hasn't lost Paris yet,
I wouldn't
and you're
expect
gonna
it to happen this phase. I would expect it to happen next year, at the start
sure.
of
So then
next
a
year,
good way
probably.
to stop it, like, he would have to stab you in the spring of next year, right? And you're gonna get like, you're gonna get a build, and that build is gonna be a Fleet London, and so like that's gonna be an English Channel or North Sea to help make it unappealing. You'll see if he doesn't build any fleets, then he's not gonna have more fleets to stab you. He's just gonna have his two. So like, I don't know. And if you expect him to do a full stab, then you want to be in Western Med because then he's going to help you with Spain and Portugal before he stabs you. And if
Yeah.
he doesn't help with Portugal and Spain in the spring, it's pretty obvious what's going on, so you're ready to defend in the fall. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I
So
makes
I
sense.
disagree with this one move, but it's a small thing. It doesn't really matter, and the like this position's great still. So
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we move into winter then?
yeah, let's look at the builds.
Okay, builds '03. We've got Army Constantinople, which I think is very sensible here,
Perfect.
right?
Yep. You're gonna take Bulgaria with it. That's great.
Yeah, double armies from Germany. So Germany now still has two fleets to England's six.
Yeah.
Wow. That really does kind of cripple Germany's ability to stab England, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we have Fleet Naples, which makes sense from Italy.
First,
I thought they were building two. Oh, they
they
lost
lost
Greece.
Greece.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, that is still quite painful for Italy because here, if they force anything out of Ionian Sea, it always has a potential retreat, right? There's no way they can cover all three of these important provinces: Naples, Turin, and
Yep.
Tunis. Um, Yeah, which in turn means that Turkey doesn't actually have to defend Ionian Sea. They can just let it be dislodged and know that it will always retreat into somewhere scary, so maybe Italy just won't dislodge it, right?
Yeah.
um, alright. Anything more to say to this one?
Just this looks really good for England, right? This phase,
Hmm.
Germany puts down two armies. This is great news. There's absolute chaos in the Med, and there's now just these two units in Iberia to mess with it. So as England, you can either, and because you put this fleet down on Eddie, we assume that was ran by Germany, so that's almost certainly going to North Sea. If
Yeah.
it's going, or even Norwegian, which helps with Norway, but it's North Sea is very plausible. So this is all solid, and like just get into the Med, take Iberia, be on like nine centers. Happy days.
Yeah.
Germany, hey, Russia's got nothing, right? Like, what's Russia gonna do? You can convoy to Livonia guaranteed if you want to support it, and walk into Prussia guaranteed, and like walk into Warsaw and Bohemia. Like if you just throw everything at the east, Russia's just hey, thanks for Warsaw, Moscow. Appreciate the
Yeah,
donation.
man. That is. It's so strong for both of them.
Yeah,
Wow.
if they stick together, it's guaranteed one of the two of them wins. And then as England, it's the German stab doesn't look that great, but yeah,
Yeah, the problem if you like Germany doesn't really have any ability to stab England effectively right now, I think. Um Maybe if they convoy up to Livonia they can then support up to St. Pete and position something, but it's
yeah,
still so weak. The English stab on Germany equally just isn't very good because they have these two fleets in defense. It would
yeah,
be starting a war that consumes most of your units, but doesn't gain you very much, which you always want to avoid. So it is very possible that both of them just stay at peace here. The question then is which one of them would be stronger going into the end game. And they both
England.
have to be thinking about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and the answer is it's England, right? Like Germany's going to have all of the neighbors that are hostile because Germany's the one on the front line in the stalemate, whereas England just has a bunch of fleets in its island and then gets to like take Iberia and have a day.
Yeah.
So if they stick together, right, England is just going to have the edge in the end game. That's the fundamental problem with the EG. Like, this is how can England be more pro Germany than this England is? How can Germany have had a better start than this? Right, they're in Vienna and have already taken Paris and Marseille. France is almost a non-factor, and it's the end of '03. Germany has their second fleet build. England has only built fleets and has put down no armies, and yet even still, it's scary going into the end game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, EGs have a late game problem, but this is still a great position for both of them. I think if you give, like, I would accept either England or Germany. If you said every game that I play as England gets to this position, I'd snap it off. Right? I think this is way above average England position and way above average German position.
Yes.
So this is a great alliance that's worked excellently for the two of them to get to this point. And even though it's not perfectly stable into the end game, that's fine. This is diplomacy. Only one person wins.
Yep. All right. Well, shall we go through to SO4?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right. Spring 1904. So we do see that convoy over to Livonia that you were talking about, and they walk into Galicia as well. Oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah.
So Germany completely surrounds Warsaw with 4 units here. And more than that, even that Galicia unit can actually help out their Vienna unit in that position as well. Although I think Germany expecting to hold that in the long term probably wouldn't be something that would happen, right? That's just... That one's a bit overextended. But this is certainly an area that Germany can hold. And it's such a strong attack. Incredibly strong. Yeah, over here, a lot of holding. Germany has not moved into position to take Belgium or anything like that. England is not moving away, but also doesn't have position on any of Germany's centres. Notably, they avoided North Sea and went north into Norwegian. So, looks like the alliance is pretty rock solid here. Neither of them have much incentive to stab the other. And they are positioning on Spain. So, potentially goodbye France very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything more to add for the West, or?
Nah, that sums it up, right? No dots to be taken for, yeah, seems good.
Yeah, in the East, there is one thing that kind of makes me wince, which is this fleet retreating to Apulia rather than Tunis. I would always want it to go Tunis. That's just not a great place for a fleet to be. Although I do see the logic, I guess, because if Italy does just immediately push you out of Tunis, and notably this fleet isn't there to support that anymore, usually the reason that Tunis is great is that you would then be able to retreat into Western Med and harass the Italians from behind. But with England this far advanced, it's a lot more difficult to do stuff like that. So maybe they view Apulia as better on that front.
Yeah, Apulia is adjacent to 2 empty dots right now.
That is true.
So it's going to be a huge pain to deal with, to slow down. And since, as Turkey, you're just hard at war with Italy from here, yeah.
Yep. I think my problem with that is really a fleet in Tunis is actually kind of useful against Italy in the long term, so Italy does have to deal with it and push it out. Apulia, yeah, I guess so. I think Italy doesn't really need to cover at least this dot against the fleet as much as you think they would, because if the fleet goes up to Venice, that is a really easy position for Italy to kill it from. Yeah. It still threatens Naples, I guess, and it can pull something through to Ionians, so yeah, maybe it's better than I'm giving it credit for.
At this point, I have stopped caring about this game. I recognize I've done, and Cora is an annoying ally because Cora won't discuss tactics or anything. I guess being worried about leaks. And so you notice that Romania just holds because Cora didn't tell me what Cora was doing. And I was like, why are you taking Bulgaria with the fleet? Why is
So,
that our line?
I mean, in a sense, I get it in that if you're telling other people information about your plans, there is always more chance of it leaking, right? But if there's a one dot vassal who has been brutalized by the other two neighbors, I think I would tell that person everything they needed to know, right?
Yeah,
About what they were doing, because at that point you think they're gonna work with me 100% at the end of this game. At
yeah.
least I'm not in the position where I did this press, of course, so maybe they got a different impression of you, but that would be what I would generally think. You trust vassals a bit more generally than the average player. uh,
Yeah. Anyways, this position for Turkey is deteriorating rapidly.
mhm.
With an army in Bulgaria and the fleet retreating to Aegean, things look much more stable, right? There's like pressure on Serbia. Who knows exactly what's going on? Things will be fine. But with this fleet in Bulgaria, south coast, you just kind of don't have anything going on, right?
Yes. The big problem is just Eastern Mediterranean and the Aegean being wide open, right? The and that fleet is not very good at defending them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's painful. Um, it is. I mean, this position is also super painful for Russia, as we've already discussed. And for
Oh yeah.
you, it's a
Man, I'm
non-starter.
so glad that Russia has that extra unit in like Silesia, for example, right now.
So yeah, it looks like Italy is really the king of the south at the moment.
Yep.
I mean, even their position though, you gotta compare it to the other side of the board and just go. It's got no shot if these two stick together. They are just gonna walk over this board. Uh, but yeah, we will see. Okay, so anything else to talk about for SO4, or shall we go ahead?
Let's do it. Let's see the fall.
Alright, fall 1904. This was the turn that sent shockwaves through the spectator chat. I do remember this. Because there we go, Germany stabs, despite it being a one dot stab against an ally who ostensibly is not going to attack them anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
Um, that ally has left North Sea open for them, basically conceded everything they wanted, but they go for it anyway for a one dot and for getting this fleet into Denmark. Notably, it is kind of a two dot because they take St. Petersburg and they make sure that the English don't get Spain.
Yeah.
But it's a massive risk to take for what looks like right now to be not very much. I'm curious what your thoughts on it are.
Um, I wouldn't have done this, but I also recognize where Germany's coming from here. As we was talking about, the late game EG is going to benefit England. And assuming competent play, it's difficult to imagine a world where Germany can win this game as part of this alliance.
Yep.
Because England is going to be in position, is going like if Germany helps England take Spain and Portugal, which England would get, Germany doesn't get anything out of that. Um, then is Germany ever going to be able to stab in the future? Maybe, right? You're going to have that St. Petersburg stab, but England's going to have extra units. England's probably going to start building some armies because there's that huge bottleneck in the south. So trying to get units into the Med is going to be a huge pain and going to go slow. So England might put down an army. And if England puts down an army in Belgium just for security, if you're Germany needing to commit so many units to the east to get builds, it's tough. And so stabbing right here means that England is still in fine position to defend, but England's always going to be in fine position to defend. But you take St. Pete, you take Warsaw, and then you put down two fleets, and you're in Denmark, and you're ready to fight. And this is a difficult war, but the East is still in chaos. It's mostly going to be Italy versus Turkey, because Turkey is still strong in the corner, but you've weakened Russia to the point where Russia's not really a factor in this war. And so if Italy and Turkey fight for too long, it's just you versus England, and now you've got the jump on England rather than delaying, giving England builds, and potentially letting England get the jump on you.
Yep.
Um, it doesn't look like a stab, right? It's such a thin line, but something that I noticed right when I was allied with Katie, right, is these top players will recognize that sometimes you just take a thin stab on your ally, even though they're leaving themselves in good position, and then you'll have the edge and you'll board top,
Yeah,
right? You
absolutely.
just, I think, make stabs like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely with that. I also want to say, like, I massively respect seeing a stab opportunity like this and actually going for it, because it takes uh it's not just boldness of wanting to go for, of in the moment having the courage to go for a stab like that doesn't seem to get you enough immediately. It's also knowing that if this stab works out badly and, like, your alliance crumbles, that person is going to be mad at you forever because you ruined both of your chances by doing this, right? And being willing to go for that anyway, I think, is something that it's the reason we don't see stabs like this a lot more often. Is that people are worried about that factor of this, like, I'm ruining their chances as well as mine if I go for this right now, and if it doesn't work out. And so just seeing someone being willing to do it anyway is, I think, is pretty. It takes a lot to be willing to do
Play
that.
for the win.
Yeah. And to recognize this early on that this might be the best opportunity you'll get for the entire game, even if it looks like a pretty terrible one.
I mean, if you're playing against good players on standard diplomacy, right? Like, they're not gonna do what I did and just give you these, like, glorious stabs to just, like, take everything, right? That's not a common thing. If they give that, then they'll get eliminated from the game early.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep. Alright, so yes, Germany goes for it here, and we'll have to see whether or not it works out for them. It, as Ezio mentioned, it is a really thin line. And you're gonna think that if Germany does start coming out on top, these players in the south may well unite and go into them, which is another thing to consider. We'll see how it goes going forward. I do notice in the east, almost nothing moves, right?
Yep.
And you don't die. Wow, you get this random tap on Budapest and Budapest taps you, and Germany is trying to support hold Budapest at the same time. It's like no one here is talking to each other.
I'm talking to Germany, but this phase Germany lied to me because Germany was like, "Hey, I'll support you into Budapest," and I was like, "Sweet, thanks." And then was he gonna take Budapest? It was one of the two. I don't think if he was taking Budapest, I would have supported him down. Anyways, Germany lied to me this phase because Germany did not tell me he was stabbing England. Because I was hoping for the EG to stick together because I'm like, hey, if EG sticks together, they crush Italy. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
And then they stab and I'm like, no! No! This is the only way that Jordan can win this game. No!
It is a miserable experience when you're going to someone who stabbed you. I told you so. You're gonna lose by doing this, and then the thing that person was betting on happening actually happens, and you're just left there going like, "Oh no, this stab might actually pay off."
I did not tell Jordan he was gonna lose by stabbing me. At no point did I say that.
Yeah, fair enough. But you thought it, right?
Honestly, no. I was like, shit, that's pretty good. That's why I defended against it, right? Because I looked at the stab and I'm like, yeah, shit, that's a pretty good line.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Right? And when I look at the stab and I say, man, I would almost certainly do that stab. That's what I defend.
Alright.
And it's like, looking at this board with this wave building Trieste, oh, you bet your ass. Anyways, yes, now we're later. Yeah, Jordan was the one who told me I obviously wasn't trying to win. So.
Well, I mean, after the wave build, it's pretty.
Yeah, right? It looks pretty plausible. It's like, I mean, yeah, I don't know what you were trying to do, buddy, but it did look like.
Yeah. Anyway, so over here, I mean, I misread this situation completely. I was like, well, you can let the Turkish fleet go into Venice. That's not an issue, so you don't need to bother covering this. You can just go out into Ione. And clearly, Jordan values his build quite a lot from Greece, right?
Yeah,
and I guess there's good reason for that. If you get the build here, you can kick a Puli route a lot more easily. So
yeah. right? And then like you don't want them to put down a fleet in Smyrna.
Yeah. Um, that is absolutely true. Yes. So,
Yeah,
yeah, getting into Eastern Mediterranean, great here. The fact that they don't have a fleet in Ionian to back it up is a little bit bad, but it's not the worst. And as Italy, you're just going, praise the Lord, like that Germany stabbed here. I now have a chance, right? This EG could crumble, and I have time to consolidate on the other side of the board.
yeah.
All right. Shall we move to winter?
Let's see it.
Okay, winter '04 power rankings turn. Fleet army? What? Okay,
Yeah,
I thought for sure it was going to be fleet after the stab, because you kind of do need as many fleets as possible against this, right? England still has
surely.
5 on the board, even with the 1 disband.
Yeah, but turns out Leo's better than us at diplomacy, man.
I guess the one army here is to stabilize the backline. I mean, it has to be, right?
Jordan's the threat.
Mhm.
So if we discuss power rankings, we can look at this.
Yeah.
But the short of it is that Jordan's the threat, and if he puts down 2 fleets, Jordan has the run of the Balkans and will get everything.
Yeah, that's fair, I suppose. He does need to head in both directions. That is
Yeah,
a huge advantage of Germany, right? That can very quickly turn into a disadvantage. Is you being in the center, being able to attack everything and like have your hand
be
in
attacked by everything. Yeah,
everything. Yeah, but the moment people come up to the line, you can just be denied your builds forever because you can't. You know, you're pushed onto the defensive in your home dots. Um,
yeah.
so
So while discussing power rankings, can you scroll down a little bit to show the
uh,
actual center count for each person to make the audience's life a
absolutely.
little easier? Because yeah, Germany's pretty big right now, right? And England is only on 6,
Yes.
and this is part of why that 2 dot stab is so significant, right? If England is up to 8 and Germany is at 10, things are a lot more balanced. But by denying England those builds, it's pretty huge on the delta. And you'll notice Italy being at 7, Turkey being at 5. This war in the East, right? Like again, power rankings. It's Leo 1, Jordan 2, Cora 3, Josh 4, and then everyone else isn't going to win the game. Right?
Yeah.
That's who's gonna actually fight for this win. And it's like Leo and Jordan as top 2, and then there's like a huge gap, and then Cora and Josh, right? And then like no one else matters, right?
Yeah.
So to that end, if you're trying to win this game, yeah, you got to do your balance of power thing. You've got to mess with Jordan.
Yep.
This is
Absolutely
actually a
true.
pitch that I made to Leo here. I think he was going to go for it anyways. I don't think like I actually convinced him, but this was the thing that I did say like, hey, look, I know that if Jordan doesn't have any rivals in the South, then I'm gonna die. So I need there to still be pressure on it, and I'm still hoping to get like a survival, but I don't really care. But this is a pitch that like it was cool, right? This was such a cool phase. I was excited to talk about it to Leo for a bit.
Hmm.
And this is the analysis that I gave afterward. That I gave like to him during the phase, and then I have afterwards. But from here, I also check more and more out each phase.
Yep.
So yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm super excited to see whether the Munich Kiel builds here actually do pay off. Because even if I had gone for that stab on St. Petersburg and not supposing England into Spain on the previous turn, I think I always build fleet here. Like the
yeah,
just that's the instincts, right? You're like, I stabbed someone who is a stronger naval power than me. This is my opportunity to get fleets down, try and even that up. I need to do it. We'll see what that army Munich does instead, and whether Germany can contest in the north with this few fleets.
yeah.
All right,
That's the question.
shall we go to Spring '05?
Let's do it.
All right, Spring 1905. Yeah, and we see so these fleets are mainly stopping the English mobilizing in Germany's direction, but getting that one out to Holland is pretty important. Like getting 2 on North Sea.
Yeah, it couldn't have been stopped.
Yep. And you can see that England is also understands the danger of North Sea here, right? And gets that second fleet adjacent to it. Third fleet, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah.
And Germany's moves here were quite clean, as they've been the entire game. You'll notice that if England had supported Barents into St. Petersburg, which is something that a lot of people would have done with Norway and Barents, then St. Petersburg would have retreated to Finland, Bothnia would have taken Sweden, and there would have been an army in Livonia and an army in Moscow. And so then in the fall of this same year, despite England taking St. Petersburg, because it would then retreat to Finland, England would then lose Norway and St. Petersburg.
Yep. That's
So it was a very clean line here from Leo that would punish a lot of these short-sighted tactical moves to counterplay. And so the more important strategic position of no, North Sea's the important part here. St. Petersburg is bait. We're not going to go for it. Yeah, very clean.
Yep.
Well done. Well played by both parties, right? Good tactical fight there. It sucks that one party has only, what, 5? I think it's 6, right? And the other person, yeah, 6.
Yeah.
And then the other person has 11. It makes it not a fair fight.
Yeah. I do love that they've managed to essentially demilitarize France while fighting this war because they're both so
It
obsessed
looks
with
to
Belgium.
me, with Mao supporting Paris into Gascony, that might be a thing where they were like, hey, can we actually still kill France here? Is this a thing that we can do? Like, you'll get Spain, I'll get Portugal. We still fight. One of us still wins, but, like, at least France is out of the way, but no.
Maybe. I'm like trying to think, is there any way where that support could have been a hostile one, right? Where maybe they expected these to self-bounce? But even then, no, I guess getting, even if you expect Germany to like cover Marseille here and go down to Gascony, you kind of do want that move to Gascony to succeed so that they're not in position on Paris anymore. Maybe you think that you're, well, no, you know that this is getting out in that case. Well, them being out of Paris is generally a good thing for you in any case. Maybe it's if Burgundy bounces you out of Belgium and this was going to bounce with the French unit, then you prefer to have this unit still threatening Paris and that unit not in Paris to defend it and go for Brest at the same time. Yeah. I think it means very little in this case anyway. But yeah, they have essentially managed to demilitarize this area. Germany is moving around to completely encompass Belgium to try and take that. And they're both going to have a bit of a choice over which one of these two provinces they prioritize on the next turn. English Channel can, of course, help defend Belgium, or can help attack North Sea, and the same goes for this fleet in Holland. So yeah. What else is going on here? We have Germany walking into Moscow unopposed. We have Germany getting into Galicia. It looks like Russia has just decided that they are gonna let Germany do what they want and focus entirely on the south, which must be a bit annoying for you in Romania, but you are holding. And Italy recognizes the threat of Munich coming down and supports themselves up to Tyrolia here. So yeah, that Turkish fleet still annoying in Apulia for Jordan.
Yeah.
That's a lot of me talking. Was there anything you wanted to mention here?
I think it's all solid analysis. I mean, it's just, yeah. Fun fight. Let's go. Let's see, like, can Jordan grow enough while also stopping Leo from crushing? And I think the support to Tyrolia is a really good start.
Yep. Absolutely. Leo has to be disappointed here that he didn't support Munich down instead. But of course, that's a benefit of hindsight thing because it looks like you were attempting to support Jordan up into Russia.
Hell yeah.
Was that discussed with him, or?
Yeah. Yeah, that was discussed.
Mm-hmm. But he clearly didn't trust you or didn't want it.
Yeah, he doesn't care, right? Russia's also going to be his vassal and not do anything. So that Russian army in Budapest is essentially an Italian army, so... Sure.
Righto. Anything else you want to talk about here?
No, I think we can go to fall.
Okay, fall 05. I am interested, like, I was looking at this Turkish fleet wondering what's going to happen here now. Is Jordan still going to be obsessed with holding both Venice and Naples? And it appears that the answer is yes, and it looks like that was correct.
Now, if you want to go back to the spring, actually, let's talk about a quick thing here, right? So, what I've learned after the fact is that Cora was under the impression that Jordan was going to pull Eastern Med out to Ionian, and then was going to support something into Apulia to disband the fleet, and
Oh,
so chose to hold instead of tapping Naples. The point is, or Ionian. The point is, you should always tap Naples or Ionian because even if Jordan sticks to his word, then it doesn't cost, and then you pop your fleet and everything's okay. And then if he doesn't stick to his word, you get an edge,
right.
right? I just something that's fun. If you want to look at the tactical mistakes that Cora has made this game, it is every time he's moved a unit to Munich, and it's punished.
Yeah.
So it's actually very funny that you can look at it. And so I recommend against moving units to Munich when they don't border Munich.
uh, yeah, well, you say that, but Jordan did it in 01 and then managed to get you to waive a build, so...
Yeah, but Jordan does stuff that I don't recommend all the time, and he's better than me, so he knows when to do it. Right? You got to know the rules before you break the rules,
Mhm.
right? You know one of the rules is don't move to Munich, but Jordan's an excellent author, and so he knows when that you're allowed to break the rule.
Gotcha, yeah. Alright. Well, yes, so we were looking at the fall, right? And of course, Apulia does get bounced out of Naples here. Anything else? We see Turkey moving back. So you said that Italy and Turkey had arranged to disband this together, so they were discussing potentially working together against Germany, and it looks like Italy just decided, nah, I want to take more. And
Oh,
honestly,
that was in the spring. The
yeah,
spring with the supported attack into Bulgaria, right? It was like, hey, I'll support you into Budapest, and then you can kill Budapest, and then like move your units north, get into Tyrolia, you can get Vienna, right? That was the
yeah,
line.
I
Yeah,
see. But of course,
but
Italy decides against it, and I think that's correct in this scenario, right? You've got to outrace the people in the West as well as hampering them, and in order to outrace them, you kind of have to consolidate this area at least, I think, as Italy. Um,
yeah, makes seems very reasonable.
Maybe you can make a mad dash into Portugal, Spain, Marseille, given that France is currently there and they're not going to be able to defend it all that well. But, I don't know. This feels like the easier area to consolidate, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, from the current position. So yeah, pretty good progress from Italy. They managed to get Vienna. I mean, it is only one dot of progress, and they do still have to deal with this fleet, but getting the one dot means they can put down something new there, and that makes dealing with this much, much easier. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Get the
Uh,
builds, and then yeah, in the West you see progress, right?
yep.
As I don't know, yeah.
And here, like, Germany just outright ignores North Sea, and that's certainly one way to deal with it. You go, I'm not gaining that anyway. I could potentially have bounced it by moving Holland in and supporting with Denmark, but it's a bit of a guessing game depending on what England wants to do, and it's much better to just say, okay, I'm going to ignore that province and make progress in two other places instead. Right? Sweden and Belgium. And one of those being a supply center is a really good thing because it means they go +2, -1. They get the build. They can put down another fleet here and push out into North Sea with that. I swear to God, if he doesn't build a fleet here,
I mean, I'm just saying, Munich's open.
it is. Munich is open. You could just be so confident, like I can beat England with 3 fleets. You can't. You
You
can't.
know,
Oh
that'd be
no,
a
he
fun
doesn't have a
heuristic,
build.
right?
He lost Marseille. I missed that. Um, so he doesn't get to put down a fleet anyway.
Gets
Oh,
Belgium and Moscow, but loses Vienna and Marseille. And he chose to keep Vienna on the board, knowing he could have removed it and put a fleet down in Kiel.
yeah, so there's the decision. He makes it in retreat phase instead, keeping the extra army on, making sure there's a line here, and
Jordan's the threat, man. It's not. It's not Josh.
yeah, we should know. I don't think I mentioned this at the start of the game. This game is time limited to 1910. If
Yes.
this was not a time limited game, I think there's more chance that England Germany stick together. Probably, I don't know. We'd see, I guess. But the big thing here is that he doesn't necessarily need to eliminate England. He just needs to stay as big as he is and stop anyone else getting as big as he is, right? In order to win this game. And there's a time limit on when he needs to hold that until. Alright, so, anything else you want to mention here?
No, I think that's good. I think that's the important stuff.
Alright. I do notice France getting back into the game. They're not going to be able to build from this, but...
Yeah. Ain't that fun? Getting back in the Mid-Atlantic Ocean, taking Marseille.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
England-Germany alliances against France always disintegrate eventually. You can come back. It'll work.
As long as you're on Iberia, man.
Yeah, alright, so going through to Winter 05, we see Russia take off Ukraine, that makes sense, their center is here, and Army Naples. It's interesting that it's not a fleet, especially considering the fleet could have gone off this way, but if you want to deal with Fleet Apulia, I guess it's pretty good, and it's able to get convoyed afterwards.
Well, I think it's not about the convoying. I think it's, if you want a unit in Venice, you'd rather have an army there. And if Germany is your rival, it's kind of important to get armies and move them up north. Plus, you're fighting over the Balkans, right?
Yeah. That is... I mean, it's such a good point. I kind of ignore these German armies because it's so weird to have a Germany who is attacking every front at once, right? Who's pressuring here probably harder than he's pressuring the centers in the north. But he absolutely is doing that, and you have to be aware of those units. Very aware.
Yeah.
Oh man, I actually love this German game. It's so good having this attack everywhere. I don't know whether it's the right move, but it's certainly unusual, and it feels good despite me definitely not I would not have done it. Under any circumstances, I think. Yeah. Anything else to add?
No, this is the winter. Let's go see the spring.
Okay, spring 06. You are still alive. And supporting Russia now. Okay. Was this as part of some big anti-German coalition again, or...?
No. This was me saying, I think I have a better chance at getting Russia eliminated if I slap him in Galicia and then have Italy retreat into Budapest. And now there's a solid chance that Russia gets eliminated here.
I see. Incredible. The pettiness of one center players can never be underestimated. Man. God. Can we also talk about how good Jordan's moves here were? It actually gets rid of this Turkish fleet at the same time as managing to make progress into Bulgaria. I assume this must have been another thing that maybe he talked over with Turkey and got them to do.
Well, if he knew that Romania wasn't supporting Bulgaria, because they knew what was going on, right? Russia's not going to do this attack in Galicia if he didn't. And so because he knew that Romania wasn't holding Bulgaria, then the 3 is a guaranteed attack.
Yeah, that is true. And Turkey tries... this is kind of neat what Turkey is trying to do, but it requires no opposition, right? Or it requires you supporting them over, which...
Even if I support the move, it doesn't actually work.
Yeah, because there's 3 going in. It's the right tactical idea. You want the army on this side. Especially if you trust Germany not to interfere with you, which it looks like Turkey can right now because Italy is the big threat to Germany, right? But there's no way that going for Bulgaria is ever going to succeed here. How do you even... I think you have to walk it through Sevastopol and then maybe actually just eliminate you.
Aww.
I'm sorry, Ezio. But I think it was the play, because if you put it in Constantinople, you're just blocking your own retreat, right? There's no big benefit to that. Up north is really the only way to do it.
I think put it in 7, have it help Romania hold works too.
Yeah, that works fine, but I like dots more than I like one center
Yeah,
allies.
counterpoint is in this position. I don't think you can take Romania from Sevastopol and then hold Romania.
Yeah, you would need to
I
get
think
the
the way the
second army
position
up
works
here
out.
really fast, which is tough.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think it works out tactically, but whatever. We'll see. Obviously, my tactical read is not good, and no one should listen to anything I have to say.
hey, don't say that. You're trashing the channel by doing that. Everyone
Yeah.
comes here to listen to what you have to say.
So here's this move, right? If I had like known what was going on with these tactics on this phase, would I support Budapest up?
Mhm.
If I support Galicia into Budapest, and if Germany supports Bohemia into Vienna, the game is over.
Germany gets those 2 dots, and you go. I assume at this point you're rooting for a German win, right? Because the alternative
Well, yeah,
is the
because
person
Germany's
who
been working
stabbed
the
them.
whole game. But
Yeah.
not only does Germany get Vienna and Budapest, he also pops both of those units,
Mhm. That is
and
huge.
that's just it. And
Yeah.
then Germany's in Vienna and Budapest, and I suspect Germany will be happy to keep me alive because if I'm alive, then nobody else has that dot, and so he's not winning. And so people might just concede at that point. I think that that would be so crushing. Germany would be up to what, 14, 13 centers?
Yeah. Uh,
13, yeah.
so they.
And like progress into Serbia, right? Because Serbia is probably going to get lost because Bulgaria gets cut, and then Trieste gets tapped, and then I support into Serbia. Like it's just game's over, right? But no,
Yeah.
I keep the game going. I let everyone have some fun.
Oh man. Okay, yeah. Looking at other parts of the board here. Sorry. France is actually gonna get France back. It looks like.
They can't stop it. Who like neither of them can afford to piss off France in this war.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible, right? How the
Yeah.
hell? They've like France is just gonna walk back into all of their dots with 2 units left on the board and then slowly rebuild everything in Marseille.
Yeah. You're talking about the time game. It's a damn shame that this game has a timer.
Hmm.
Because if this game didn't have a timer,
France has a pretty good chance. I mean, they.
this is France, man.
It should be noted, of course, both of these moves can be blocked quite easily, right?
Oh yeah, but they're
If
not
they
going to
want
be blocked.
But these two would have to stop fighting for that to happen, or have to prioritize blocking France over attacking the other one. And both of them want the other one gone more, right? This is you can see that Germany is focusing on North Sea, and they actually get France to help them get into North Sea. It looks like. And England is focusing on Germany so hard that they retreat away from their home centres to attack Kiel and Holland and distract Germany down there. So it's just like, yeah, France has a free walk in on the other side. Man,
Yeah.
it's so funny to watch. Yeah, Germany getting North Sea here is kind of huge, but England being in Heligoland is also so annoying. I don't know how Germany is going to deal with that.
Yeah, well, I'm in North Sea, or I as Germany, am in North Sea, so who cares that they're in Helgoland? Like, it's fine.
That's true. You do like being in North Sea as Germany. This is
Yeah,
true.
Germany and North Sea is to trade for England and Helgoland. Whatever, acceptable.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else to talk about here?
Nah, let's go to the fall. Let's see it.
All right, fall 1906. Here we go.
Wah, wah,
Oh no, you died, and Russia
wah,
survived.
wah, wah.
What was the intention here? I assume you thought they were being triple supported down or something?
Yeah, there's a solid chance that Galicia goes into Armenia, but that also would have killed me. So, yep.
Yeah, that's ouch. This is. I
Wah,
imagine
wah.
at this point, all you really look at this and think is, I wish Germany had moved into Budapest and like supported in here, so Russia dies as well. But no, they survive.
Yes, yeah. Germany tapping Budapest would have also been very funny.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking that. No, I was just like, I just shouldn't have supported them up. Big
Yeah.
sad. Oh well.
But yeah, this is, and also
Ezio's
if you'd have
finest
hold,
game.
you would
Yep.
have been able to go to. I wonder if would you retreat to Sevastopol in that case, or would you go
Oh,
nah
absolutely,
Turkey?
yeah.
I
There's points, right?
mhm.
Like for the BDNI, having a higher placement is huge.
Oh,
And
that
so
is
if I
true.
retreat this dev, then there's a pretty solid chance I'd last for a lot longer.
Hmm.
But I did the only move set that involves me dying. Right? If I go anywhere else except to Galicia here, then I retreat to Sev, and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I did the one move set that means I die and Russia lives and we are set. Oh well,
Yep.
it's fine. It means I don't have to look at this game anymore.
Yeah. Well.
In real life, notably, this review's gonna finish, but it meant that like I was so done.
Yeah. No. We
I
just end the review there. You will
We
never
end the
know the
review there.
rest.
Ezio's dead.
This
That's
is
what everyone
Ezio's
cares about in
joke.
this game. Everyone, yeah, we're done. But no,
Uh,
this is such a good game, right? It's good to review. Let's see it.
It is very, very cool. You note that Germany manages to take the dot off of Italy in the south, and they lose one to England in the north, but they walk into London,
Yep.
like, unopposed. And the way they did this, of course, they would, if they hadn't been able to walk into London, they wouldn't have lost Belgium, because they can bounce out a one strength attack. It's only because English Channel chose not to block London that they managed to take this one. Which and of course a big thing here, they managed to block England out of Kiel as well. This was a guess, of course. England could have gone to Denmark and got that centre, but good guesswork on Germany's part, and they are now up 1, right? And good negotiation with France means that they didn't lose Paris here. France went to Brest instead. Although they
Yep.
are definitely losing Paris next year. There is no question about that.
Seems pretty likely.
Hmm.
There's still an army in Burgundy, notably. It's not a guarantee that they lose Paris.
That's true. I assume Army Marseille is going to come down and put 2 on here, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But like then there's an army in Burgundy, right? So maybe they can get Marseille or something out of it. Or they just agreed that they'll lose a dot, and that's fine.
Yep. Uh, right, yeah. Well, very good play from Germany all around. England is fighting to try and keep them back, and of course manages to hold Norway as well, which is good play on their part. If they covered Edinburgh, then they would have lost that, and that would have been pretty brutal. Uh, but yeah, all looks good there. And of course, in the south, Italy is doing rather well. They do manage to get into Romania. They hold Bulgaria. They've advanced into Eastern Mediterranean. They're doing all this while still never putting a unit over here, right? They are focused solely on consolidating what they can get. And I think we are seeing why that Army Munich ends like this. It's ended up being a pretty good idea, because the reason Italy hasn't been able to do even more is because of this massive German units here.
Yep.
Alright, anything you want to add there?
Oh seven's in chat.
But it's '06. We can't
Ha.
salute you.
Got it. I didn't make it to the saluting year. Brutal.
Oh dear. Okay. So Army Rome comes down, Army Marseille, your unit, of course, is off the board. Goodbye, Ezio. In fact, I will
And
remove
finally
you
another fleet.
from the power rankings. There we go.
Yeah.
And yes, Fleet Keel comes down. The fact they got the build there, actually pretty huge. They can now
Yeah.
push Heligon Lambite out.
And England has to disband that fleet in the English Channel.
Yep, and at this point, I think England just has to hope that France is gonna flip and take their side now, right?
Yeah.
And I could see it happening, because France, there are 4 years left in the game. They could have a chance of getting this, but they need to counter Germany to do so. But then you look at that and you go, France actually needs to get a lot of SCs to counter that, and the only place they're going to get them is probably here. If they, so maybe they stick with Germany anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough to say.
I mean, I think they're going to just take dots off both. I expect France to take Paris and Liverpool, right?
Yes, I think it's very likely. And of course, just the fact that no one is going to look at them while they're doing it, like no units are going to head back this way. It's hilarious.
France gets to France, man.
Yeah. Alright. Okay, so, It
And
is
at
a
this
power
point,
ranking
guys, I've
stuff.
stopped looking at the game. To be clear, I don't know what happens from here.
Okay. I mean, I assume you know the winner in the end and stuff like that, right? But
Yeah, I know who
um,
won. I don't know how we get there.
okay. So power rankings wise, I think we will keep Russia at the bottom. Of course, we say goodbye to Austria, Ezio. France, I would put above England now.
I would too.
In
I would
fact,
put him above Turkey now.
yeah, that was what I was wondering as well. Like, the fact that France is being ignored and left to grow is actually incredible for them.
Now, question: do you put him above Italy?
No. I think the Italian position is actually really strong. The fact that these, like, if France does like end up starting to make progress against Germany in the north, I think it causes Germany's line here to fold, which means Italy becomes far stronger too. If Italy manages to consolidate this, they're pretty solid. And the only thing really stopping them right now is this. Of course, the Turkish units too, of course, but like the German units are really what's enabling the Turkish units to hold up to this assault.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would say definitely Germany is on the top right now. They're ahead of Italy, but I think Italy still has a pretty solid chance, and France has less of a chance than that.
France is a meme.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the moves.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead. So, Spring '07. Now we can salute Ezio's departure.
Sugar.
Okay, so England loses Norway in the north. France does just walk into both of these. Oh my god. Uh, the incredible thing about they're gonna be able to build two no matter what, right? Because they can support Marseille up to Burgundy, and then go bang bang. And they've actually got one more build in reserve after that, I think.
Still, yeah, because they're on 4 with only 3, and they're gaining 2. Yep.
It's actually incredible. I mean, this is all just without looking at the fact that A, this is France. Why are people letting a France do this? And B, this is Ewok, who is one of the greatest players in the world, and everyone is just ignoring him and going, you take dots, it'll be fine. I've got other things to focus on. Right?
That's why they're ignoring him, because he's one of the greatest in the world.
Yeah, the greatest in the world would never present a threat to them, right?
Yeah, surely. That's what happens when you talk to them.
Yeah, man, this is fantastic. England, like, folding back to try and defend as much as they can. This was a bad guess on Skagerrak, I think. But that it could have been the right thing if Denmark had gone up, but there's no way you can know that in advance, right? Folding back, doing everything they can to hold North Sea, but France is going to mess with them here, and that's going to cause their line to completely fold, because they're going to lose another unit, and, there's no way you can hold beyond that point. Germany has somehow won this war against England while building 2 fleets in the entirety of it, right? One of them only being this last year, fighting on every other front at the same time, except the French one.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. Alright. And in the south, Italy just doesn't actually manage to make any progress. They get one move off, Rome to Tuscany, and that is it.
And that's... Italy needs to make a lot of progress, because, again, if you scroll down to the supply center count, you'll see that Italy is down by 3.
Yes, indeed. So, again, it's all these German armies that are just really irritating Italy right now. They could have won some guesses here by going the other way in, right? But clearly they anticipated Vienna being support held. And, hoped that they could use that to take advantage of Tyrolia. It did not work. So good guesses from Germany's part.
Yep.
Yeah.
And notably, Germany still hedged against that, by the way. Right? The tactics of taking from Bohemia instead of Warsaw. Your instinct is probably to take from Warsaw, because Warsaw is not on the front line. But Warsaw's still a useful unit that can help affect the front line with support into Galicia, can get into Ukraine. So that's a reason to keep Warsaw, and it means that if you're wrong about Vienna and Vienna does get captured, Vienna has a legal retreat into Bohemia, which means your position is still okay.
Yep. If you get a unit taken off in this position, it's much, much worse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, anything else you want to talk about this phase?
Nah, just Germany crushing, France is Francing.
Yeah, alright. Let's go to fall 1907. You will see that support I mentioned up from Marseille into Burgundy, making sure to clear that supply center. France will then get to build 2 units. Oh no! They decided not to take Liverpool.
France still gets to build 2.
They still get to build 2 units because they had 1 in reserve that they couldn't build last year. And that is probably why they decide not to take Liverpool, because as I mentioned, England's line will fold if that happens, and they don't want Germany to win this thing, they want to still have a chance.
Yes. Meanwhile, Germany is still building. Because Germany lost Paris, yes, but gained Norway and Sevastopol.
Ooh, yeah.
So there's still an army in Munich. Chaos.
Wow.
Yikes.
Alright, and Italy does manage to make progress in managing to take Tyrolia here, but again, it's just taking a non-supply centre. You've managed to push up into Piedmont as well, which is great, but nothing on the Turkish line, right? Turkey is holding this rock solid, just letting Germany take that behind them because they need to take this.
Now that Turkey has to disband, Turkey crumbles.
Yes. Holding this line requires a support hold on this side and a support hold on this side because there are 2 possible attacks, right, of 2 strength. Once one of those disappears, it becomes a guessing game. In fact, does it become a guessing game? Yeah, if you disband one of these 2, right, and then potentially
if you disband one of Khan or Smyrna, then you have guesses.
Yeah. But it's a guessing game. As soon as Italy wins a 50-50, Turkey collapses. Notably, there wasn't much they could do about that, because if Germany hadn't taken Sevastopol, that's leaving Sevastopol open for an Italian walk-in.
Yeah, which would have been similarly terrifying and much worse for Germany. Plus, Germany wants to build, right? So.
Yep. And knows there are only 3 years left in the game, so if Turkey can win those 50-50s, then maybe they don't collapse by the end of the game. Maybe Italy gets held back on 9 supply centers forever. Who knows?
I think it's reasonable to expect Turkey to lose a couple, but losing Smyrna and Khan, there's a chance they don't lose Ankh. So maybe Italy just ends on +2, and then Budapest at some point, so +3. So
yeah. Alright, so anything else you want to discuss here? I guess we haven't talked about the English moves, but it's all attempting to cut stuff and take stuff, and unfortunately not managing to do anything with that. I think they only go down 1 though, because again, this negotiated France not taking Liverpool is hugely important for them. They can now keep 3 units on, and they managed to tap Holland to stop Germany getting in here. So, yeah. Sorry, anything else you want to talk about?
Nothing really. It's just a big tactical slog.
Yeah.
No alliances are interesting. How much can France yoink? How much does France choose to take before anything goes bad? Yeah.
Yep. Here we do have to think through, how much can France reasonably take by the end of the game. In order to catch up to Germany's 13, they are going to have to make a sprint. And making that sprint may involve Germany getting even bigger if they don't take the centers off of Germany themselves. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting decision for them to make there.
I think France is probably going to get Belgium. I think is a natural one to get.
Yep.
But even Belgium only gets them to 6, right? They're on 5.
Yeah.
And even if they get all of England, that gets them to 8. Germany loses 1 down to 12. But how does France actually win, right?
Yeah, it's really tough. I think it is still possible with 3. Oh, God, you have to take so many dots though. Um,
Yeah, and if you take so much off of Germany, as you said, Italy probably also gets stuff off of Germany. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, alright, so, shall we move ahead to SO8?
Yeah, let's see it.
Alright, spring 1908. Here we go. So England attempting to defend North Sea and their homeland again, like just retreating this out, managing to stop Germany reclaiming the North Sea. Or maybe Germany stops them from claiming the North Sea in this case. You see France being supported up into Belgium by Germany. It's like France is being helped by both sides here. And France positions on London at the same time, but they also have the potential to walk into Liverpool if they want to. So,
Yeah, take both,
yeah.
right? Get supported into London, walk into Liverpool.
Yeah, lots of good options for them. And this is kind of what we
Notably,
need to see for the sprint, right? Take everything that they
yeah,
possibly can.
yeah.
Yeah. And elsewhere, I mean, we're seeing no progress made by Italy here, which is interesting. Um, I guess it's a misguess.
Yeah, so Italy got into Galicia. It looks like Italy was trying to get Cora to attack um, Leo, but
Oh yeah.
because I think Jordan recognizes if Cora sticks with Leo here, it probably doesn't matter
Mhm.
because Germany in this position is going to get something else off of England before the end of the game. And again, like supply center counts are really relevant here, right? Let's say Italy gets Constantinople and Smyrna and Vienna for +3. Germany is still on 12. Then if Germany gets anything else, like Edinburgh, for example, then Germany's back to 13. Maybe if they lose London, they're still on 12, so maybe there's a chance. But Germany even has the tiebreaker over Turkey. And so I think it's really important for Italy, for Jordan, that Turkey takes Sevastopol off of Leo.
Mhm.
And I think Cora said no.
Yeah,
But
it looks that
due to
way.
these tactics, Cora has lost Constantinople.
That is true. Because in order to like keep winning guesses here, you needed both of these to be uncuttable, right? By units
Yeah.
that yeah, that could be involved in the attack. So by having everything on the front line now, Constantinople can be cut. Well, Smyrna can be cut even by Eastern Mediterranean, and Aegean and Bulgaria can work on Constantinople, knowing that they will guaranteed get that. So yeah,
Yep.
Italy has made progress by doing this,
I will
and
say
managed to kick
that
kick Germany
right,
out.
this is another example of like the paradox of the best defensive unit is one that's adjacent to the center.
Yep.
And it just always stumps people and it doesn't feel right. And Cora knows this, to be clear. Everyone at this board knows this. This is just the case of if you didn't want to risk it in the spring, which you don't, because if they lose Constantinople in the spring, then you lose more in the fall. So this isn't that. But to the audience who's watching, to defend Munich, for example, you want to have a unit in Ruhr over a unit in Munich. Obviously, you want a unit in both. But if we look at Con, let's use Con as the example here, right? Like as Captain Meme said, the specific tactics, you can have movers going into Constantinople. So like Black Sea can support Smyrna into Con, and that's uncuttable. Whereas if it's in Con, it can't support Smyrna back into it.
Yes.
And then there's like the fact that by occupying the center, that this spot that's adjacent to the center, it means that no enemy unit can be there, which makes it much harder for them to attack you. So Aegean Sea would be the perfect example of this. If Turkey somehow had the unit in Aegean, Italy wouldn't, therefore, and then everything is safe. Obviously, you can't. That's not as easy to do, but in these situations, hey, be adjacent to the center. Don't be in the center itself.
Yep. And that's a very good rule of life for diplomacy. It is moving units are always better than ones that are holding. um, because if also because if they like attack something and bounce back, they can also defend the place that they are bouncing back into, right? But that is another matter entirely. Uh, all right. So, anything else to discuss here?
Um, Seems good to me.
All right, let's go forward to the fall of 1908. And we actually see Italy claim Vienna here. They get Constantinople, the guaranteed center. You can see Germany panicking a bit, coming down south to, I assume, help Turkey out in their defense with the extra unit, but it's not going to get there in time to keep Constantinople. And yeah, actually a really good turn for Italy all around. Getting that popped is not ideal, but Germany had to use so many units to do that, and they lose Vienna in the process. So,
yeah,
good thing all around for that. All right, and France stabs Britain, but they do not stab Germany, so they're not going
calling
to...
it a stab.
Yeah, I mean, they revert their unstab from the... Well, they're not stabbed from the previous year, I guess. Their generosity, even, has been rescinded. They now take the center that they were guaranteed before. But I would have loved to see them take London at the same time here. I guess they probably couldn't get England to agree to support them in. But yeah.
Yeah.
They still go +2, which is really solid. And they're presenting a line against Germany here. So getting ready for war.
Yeah, it's good position for France. I mean, like, it's the best that France can do, which is, again, there's only 2 years left, and you're only at 7, and you've got to get to, like, 12, let's say, generously. Because, again, France and Italy have both lost the tiebreaker to Germany by country picking order.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep. All right. Anything else for this phase, or shall we go forward into winter?
I think we can go to winter, yeah.
Okay, winter 08. It's a power rankings turn, Ezio.
Haven't changed, right?
They
From
are...
the previous one. Germany
they are
first,
exactly
Italy.
the same.
Or actually, do you put Cora above England now? Oh, wait, it already is. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, no, this is it. Okay, but between the two one daughters.
Yeah.
maybe Russia over England? Because I think Russia's more likely to survive.
I think that actually... yeah, I could see that. Because North Sea is absolutely getting forced on this next turn, right? And then you have... like, you just can't hold Edinburgh. Edinburgh is not that defensible of a centre, whereas Budapest is embedded in allied units here and on the front line against an enemy. They're not going to get stabbed for that, most likely.
Yep.
Alright. So, that's our power rankings. Let's go forward to spring 1909. Okay. So... it looks like France is launching an all-out attack against both players, but they help Germany out of London at the same time, I guess, so that they can take it behind them, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to win this game as France, you really need everything to go exactly your way, which means, like, walking into London and Eddie and taking Holland, and... yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great.
But I do wonder, this retreat into Yorkshire, right? I wonder if England is going to try and help France the win just because they don't want Germany to win, right? After the stab.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. And if they have England on site, I mean, it's still pretty down.
It's one extra unit, right?
Yeah.
But if then France gets Eddie, London, and Holland, hypothetically, this phase, and builds 3, it looks more reasonable. But
I also think, potentially, Brest goes down to North Africa this turn, and then Mid-Atlantic Ocean goes to Western Med. It's like a...
yeah. That's a shot for Tunis.
It's a replacement fleet, because you don't have enough fleets right now. You have to send that one north.
Yeah, and you're in Piedmont as France? I mean... look... 7 centers is a lot of centers, and if you gain 3 this phase, going to 10, you're on 10 centers going into the last year. That's you can fight, right? If you're in Ruhr, and then Germany is getting crushed, notably at the meanwhile. So I don't think Germany's going to let this happen. Something tells me Germany's going to stop this.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It should just be noted how many German units are tied down over here, though, compared to how few are on the French front, right?
Exactly.
This is, all right.
Yeah, and there's an extra unit in Armenia, right? Just helping out Turkey, stalling the line.
Yep. And that is meaning that Italy is not making any progress here. In fact, they get knocked out of Vienna at the same time. So,
You know what's interesting? I just saw this bit. I don't know if Cora was talking tactics with Leo or not, but notice how Smyrna held instead of supporting Black Sea to Khan.
oh, interesting. I mean, if
Is that intentional?
I think the position would have been worse if they supported this in, right? Because if it goes, then Khan retreats to Ankara, and then you've got Bulgaria, Aegean, Black Sea, and East. Sorry, not Black Sea. Bulgaria, Aegean, Ankara, and Eastern Mediterranean against your 2 units on the front line. Having that behind you is quite a bit worse. Because at least in this situation, you can, even if you lose Smyrna, just go to Ankara and block that, right? There's nothing supporting them in.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. It's a super interesting move. Yes. Okay.
Let's check out the fall. Does France go +3?
Fall 1909. They do take the convoy. They do get this.
They do take the convoy, but they don't go for Holland.
Well, they wouldn't.
And England doesn't let them into Eddie. Oh.
The dream seems to be dead. They could have got into Kiel here. They wouldn't have gotten into Holland because of the North Sea support hole.
Yeah, unless England cut. If England chose to cut North Sea instead of covering Eddie.
Yeah.
This looks like looks just like France saying, let's let Germany win.
Yeah, because France also supports Bohemia to Tyrolia here, I think. Let me check.
Yeah, that support ended up being irrelevant. It got cut, and the attack would have worked anyways. But the convoy into North Africa, putting pressure on Italy and in Tunis.
Yeah, it is. It's a painful one.
And Germany's in Romania.
Yeah, Germany do manage to take Romania. Italy take Vienna back. So Germany goes +1 out of this entire thing. Italy gets Smyrna, so the dot comes off of Turkey at the end of the day. But that seems to be the only
like Germany growing and Italy not growing. Yeah, that's going to be it.
Okay, shall we go through to the winter?
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay, winter 1909. Ankara off, Fleet Naples on, Fleet Marseille on. So Italy is not going to lose Tunis to the French, which is sad for the French ambitions, but it is going to annoy them and pin units down, which is,
yeah.
It's really just saying at this point, Germany has won this game, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to spring 1910. We can see absolutely no progress being made anywhere except for into Edinburgh here. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else you want to mention from this phase?
Just everyone support holding, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are accepting the results. That's what this means. But they want to, like, literally play out the game. They're not going to just end it early. That's not how these people operate. So, yeah, that's for spring, and then we can go to fall.
Yeah, fall 1910.
And Village Idiot says Village Idiot on the map.
Is there a... Oh, yeah, I see. I'm wondering what these lines here are for, if maybe they're underlining stuff, but...
yeah, I mean...
This is Ewok's MO. He is also known as Village Idiot. He has a tendency to write the letters VI on the map at various points in the game. He has almost lost a game before because he did it, if I recall one of the things that we commentated. But that's obviously not happening here. Okay. And so, if we go into the final phase, we do see, I think England dies on the last turn here, but Russia and Turkey both survive. If we go down to the center counts, France ends on 8, Italy on 11, so it's still a pretty damn good result for Italy. but not quite able to beat out Leonardo, who wins the game with 13 supply centers. So that really bold stab on England, absolutely paying off. Well done. Anything you want to add?
Really well played by everyone in this game who is still around. Everyone you can see on the board right now played really well, especially Leo, obviously. Like, what a fantastic game is Germany. That stab on England is just such a crazy stab to make, but as you look at it and think about it, and the strategic sense to recognize what the position was going to become, that's insane. That was so good, and he won deservedly.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond the stab, the Army Munich build is just the thing I want to call attention to again. It's so... Like, the stab I might have done, the Army Munich build I never would have done, and I think it's just being very tuned into what kind of things you need to watch out for on a time top board, and he knew exactly that Italy was gonna need to be neutralized, and he did that really effectively. Right? Italy still got up to 11. They may have been able to contest him. They probably would have been able to contest him if he hadn't been interfering with them as much as he did. So, fantastic play. And fantastic play all around. This was a really good game to commentate. Alright. Any final words for your entire Olympus journey, Ezio? This has been a great series, I think.
Yeah, Olympus was fun. It was a great tournament. I got very lucky to be on the final board. Everyone should join. There's going to be more Olympus, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I can link the Discord in the video description. And of course, Ezio mentioned at the start, there is another channel, the Diplomats. They did a whole coverage much more in depth than we did on this same game, where they spent an hour analysing each phase, and they have interviews with every one of these finalists. So if there's anything more you want to learn about this game, check them out. I'll link them in the description below as well. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for sharing your games with us, Ezio, even the ones that didn't turn out quite how you wanted them to.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.